Imagine a situation where a mum is in the middle of her toddler having a full meltdown. You know, the kind where it's just noise, limbs, and pure chaos. And somehow the bigger problem isn't the tantrum. I'll give you my take on this at the end of the video, because the real problem here was her own mother, standing there, basically trying to override her parenting in real time. And it gets to the point where she actually has to tell her mum to leave her house, which obviously feels like a situation that didn't start that day. So, this mum, we'll call her Lisa, with a little girl about 3.5, right in that phase where kids suddenly discover they have opinions, very strong opinions, about absolutely everything. And she's pretty clear about her parenting style. She doesn't give in just because there are tears. She's trying to teach boundaries and consistency, doing the hard yards, which if you've been there, you know. And it's not like she's winging it either. She actually has a background in early childhood education, so she knows what she's doing and she's being intentional about it. Now her mum, completely different approach. Very hands-on, very involved, and apparently very quick to just give the child whatever she wants if she starts crying, which already feels like a clash waiting to happen. So during this visit, the little girl wants something, doesn't get it, and instantly we're in tantrum territory, crying, yelling, the whole performance. And instead of giving in to stop it, Lisa does what she believes is the right thing. She holds the boundary. She talks calmly, tries to guide her through it, but when it escalates, she steps back and lets the tantrum run its course, which, to be fair, is a pretty common approach now. But her mum is watching all of this unfold and absolutely not having it. She's basically saying just give her what she wants, she's upset. And the daughter, the actual parent here, is trying to explain calmly that this isn't about distress, it's about learning limits. And here's where things start to shift. Because instead of disagreeing and just leaving it at that, her mum starts to push harder, telling Lisa that she's doing it wrong, that she should listen, that she needs to just give in. And it's not really a discussion anymore. It turns into this weird power struggle, almost like the roles are reversing for a second. So now Lisa is not only holding a boundary with her 3-year-old, but also with her mother. And then it properly crosses a line, because her mum starts calling her names, saying she's cruel, a bad mother, even going as far as calling her abusive, over a toddler tantrum. And I don't know about you, but that's the moment where it stops being about parenting differences and starts being about respect. Because you can disagree with someone's parenting, sure, but jumping straight to those kind of accusations, that's not advice anymore. That's just attacking. So Lisa basically tries one more time to explain her reasoning to her mother. And she gets shut down, like completely dismissed, told to stop talking, which again feels less like concern and more like control. So she finally makes it clear and tells her mum, if you don't agree with how I'm parenting in my own house, you can leave. And you'd think that that would be the end of it. But no. Her mum initially agrees to go, gets to the door, and then turns around and basically says, actually, I'm going to stay and I'm going to give her what she wants anyway. Which is wild, because at that point, it's not even about the child anymore. It's about proving a point. So Lisa stands firm, says no, that's not happening, and repeats that her mum needs to leave. And then it turns into this almost stubborn standoff. Her mum saying that she can't be told what to do, even in someone else's home, which again is just wild. Eventually she does leave. But then, and this part is almost unhinged, she comes back later with groceries, like nothing happened. And instead of re-engaging, Lisa just removes herself, stays in her daughter's room and avoids the situation completely. And the whole thing kind of fizzles out awkwardly once her husband gets home. I think what makes this one interesting isn't the kid's tantrum. That part is honestly pretty normal. is the dynamic between the two adults. Because on the surface, it looks like a disagreement about parenting styles, but underneath that, it feels like a struggle over authority. But there's this expectation from the older generation of, I'm your parent, so you should listen to me, even when you are literally a parent yourself now. I think that transition from being someone's child to being an adult with your own rules can be really uncomfortable for some people, especially when they're very involved in your life. And then there's the inconsistency side of things. The daughter is trying to teach boundaries, while the grandmother is undoing them, which, if you think about it, would be confusing to any kid. One person says no, the other person says yes. So of course the child is going to push harder. So I can understand why Lisa feels like she has to hold the line, even if it creates conflict, because her mother was undermining her authority with her own child. Now, did it escalate? Yeah, definitely. Telling your own mum to leave your house is not exactly a light moment, but that doesn't make her the asshole in this situation, because what's the alternative? Letting someone override your parenting in front of your child, especially after being insulted like that? I don't know. I feel like at that point, it becomes less about being right and more about protecting your space. And honestly, I kind of respect that she didn't cave. Not to the tantrum and not to her mum either. Even though, yeah, it probably would have made the situation 10 times more awkward. So I'm curious what you think about this one. Was she right to stand her ground and ask her mum to leave? Or should she have just given in to keep the peace in the moment and dealt with it later? Thanks for judging that one with me on Am I the Asshole But Zen? Let's see if your verdict changes next time.